Hey everybody, my name is Rydo and today we're starting Borderlands 2. So this is the sequel to Borderlands 1, a much beloved game that I played relatively recently. I would say it's been about half a year since I finished Borderlands 1. In the meantime, I have more recently played Darksiders 2, which tried to be this open world RPG loot game, which was very different from Darksiders 1, which was a more Legend of Zelda Metroidvania type game, action game. And then in between playing that and this, I've played Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, one of the latest Lego games, which sadly the Lego games on PC, at least for my computer, still cannot maintain a consistent frame rate and has serious hitching. I doubt that's going to be a problem on this game, since one of the many settings under video is a very smooth frame rate, although GeForce Experience has just turned it to unlimited and set up many of the video settings here to a lot higher. This is a 2012 game, so it's been 6 years. Arguably, it's right now, well, the Handsome Jack collection came out, I guess, about a year ago, and that would have been a good time for them to do a little bit of remastering, and maybe they did in a patch and I just never heard about it. Let's see. Do I need to really change any of these settings? Because there's quite a lot of things. Censor gore, I don't think that's necessary in this game, because this is hardly a very gory game. Playing on the Xbox One controller, doesn't seem like there's any real problem with that. It just thinks it's an Xbox 360 controller. Yeah, instead of doing the Handsome Jack collection, which was Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, they probably should have just done a remastered of those two games in calling that the Handsome Jack collection, and maybe that they did, because for the most part that was to re-release it on consoles, and right now in 2018 they're just about to re-release Borderlands 1 as a remaster. It's been probably, let's see, if this came out in 2012, then it's been 6 years since Borderlands 3 was expected to come out, although there is definitely a push for it to not be called Borderlands 3 and instead be called something like Borderworlds, a bigger, more open experience across multiple planets. Borderlands 1 and 2 did a very great job of just not, let's see, how can I download these things? Unused pre-order DLC 1, unused pre-order DLC 2, unused pre-order DLC 3, not downloaded. This is funny because all of the DLC is downloaded according to Steam, but there is quite a collection of DLC here. They very consistently to this day try to get people to continue to play Borderlands 2, and this seems like I have all the DLC, but some of it might simply be built into character creation stuff. They do that by doing shift codes, which is their own giveaway system. By following them on Facebook and Twitter, they lift Gearbox and Borderlands, follow Gearbox and Borderlands, they will post shift codes, and these shift codes come in here and they give you kind of rewards. I believe this 25 golden keys was the biggest reward you'd probably ever get for like a anniversary, but sometimes they just give you skins too. Oddly, you may notice that a lot of these are 2018 and then it jumps to 2015. I was writing down the codes into a text file, and when I installed the game again, Borderlands 2, and started trying to recover the codes, they had all expired. So really, to input and use the shift code, you have to do a pretty major install of the entire game to redeem the code, and that is the trick there, that you are forced to keep the game always installed and ideally always playing. It's a good trick, really. It keeps people interested in playing a game, but hardly, I doubt too many people are still playing Borderlands 2 that had been playing since the day it came out and they've never stopped. This doesn't quite rise to the level of a Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3 type game where people got those games when it was brand new and they still, till the last second, played them. Let's see, we found your an original save game for Borderlands. Thank you for playing it. As a reward, we've unlocked a custom head and skin for your character. Okay. And that's all that has to do with it. So we've got a custom head and skin from my previous character. And let's see, do we need any other little bit of explanation here? The first game was about one corporation that made guns and were in charge and running the operations on Pandora. Now we get introduced to Hyperion, and this and their leader, Handsome Jack. For the most part, he's going to be the main, I guess it's not too much of a spoiler to say, bad guy for this Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which takes place between Borderlands 1, I believe, and Borderlands 2. And he is also a major character in the Telltale game Tales from the Borderlands. I don't believe there's any other side Borderlands stories other than maybe webcomics and things like that. So the story is going to lock more into Handsome Jack than it does any of the characters you were playing in the first game. So many of those characters are going to come back, but they're not as much the main focus. So much so that instead of doing what would have been the natural and probably wanted thing of starting with my level 30 or whatever level I left my Borderlands 1 save file at, since I only played that once through on PC, and instead of importing that gun, importing that skin, importing that character, I've got to start, as all players had to do, with a level 1 new character. This story also takes place 5 years past the events of the first game, and the characters from the first game are now voiced and written as characters and no longer become the player avatars, which is certainly a risky decision storytelling wise, and it makes it's slightly questionable about what you're going to do in Borderlands 3. It's been so long, I guess it's fine if you start over for a third time in Borderlands 3, but I would kind of prefer to eventually have some kind of progression move over to the next game. And Gearbox has been certainly distracted, so Borderlands 3 is taking a long time. I'm starting recording this about a week before E3. All indication is that at most we're going to get a teaser trailer for Borderlands 3 at E3, and I suspect I'm not even sure it's in production right now. So it could be another 4 years. I've decided I'm going to play this offline, and apparently that setting doesn't stick. There's really no reason in my mind to even have people that friend me on Steam, which I do encourage people to do. I also encourage people to subscribe and click the notification bell to my channel. Even if you were a friend with me on Steam, I don't want to play the first playthrough with other people running around and drastically changing the experience from what you can expect playing this game by yourself. Almost all the games I cover are single player. It is really the only way, particularly in this kind of game, to keep the story on track. That's way too much setup, so let's begin.
So, you want to hear another story, huh?
Same intro from the first game where it implied the whole game was just a story.
There was the vault, an alien prison opened with a mystical key. To the warriors who opened it, the vault was just a container of tentacles and disappointment. They vanished into the wastelands, certain that the vault held no treasure at all. They were wrong. The vault's opening triggered the growth of iridium, a priceless alien element. Soon, the rare and valuable mineral emerged all across Pandora. Its appearance attracted many, including the Hyperion Corporation. They came to Pandora to mine iridium and bring order to the savage planet. Through their excavations, Hyperion uncovered evidence of an even greater vault. Their leader vowed to find it, to use its power to civilize the Borderlands, once and for all. But Hyperion weren't the only ones searching for the next vault's alien power. The call of danger and loot is not so easily resisted. Certain warriors came to Pandora in droves to uncover its hidden secrets. Some would call them adventurers. Others call them fools. But I call them vault hunters. Our story begins with them, and with a man named Handsome Jack.
So, defeating the final boss at the first game was kind of a disappointment. And I couldn't certainly see a reason that they wanted to introduce this new... Basically, it's just a currency called iridium. It also makes the vault do something and have something actually occur. This intro is, I believe, rather similar to the intro in the first game, if not more grotesque. We've still got psychos that are going to play a major role still. Also, we had the angel character in the first game never really touched upon. The good news is I think that gets fixed. This might not be the same intro as the first one. It may be that I actually just have seen this intro a few months ago when I was seeing if this intro would get copyright claimed, and I think it did, so I'm going to try and talk over it a little bit more than normal. Apologies for that. So you have a new Siren, which there's only supposed to be like 9 of them in the world. You have a new soldier character. You have an assassin character named Zero. I don't even know what the name of this soldier character is. I remember Roland was an accident, the Commando. And then you have a short kind of berserker. I guess he's something like a berserker. Now I played as the Siren, Maya, the first time I played this on Xbox 360, but there's a lot of DLC that I never got around to playing. Salvador the Gunzerker. Like, there was a ton of DLC that wasn't available until I had already done everything I'd want to do. It's weird to have an assassin with a sword, 0 as a number. I don't know if that really turns into the whole gun mechanic greatly, but I might decide to play as him. And here's a fake handsome Jack.
It's cute that y'all think you're the heroes of this little adventure, but you're not. Welcome to Pandora, kiddos.
So why these specific vault hunters were targeted? Probably not for even a really good reason. Probably a handsome Jack just tries to kill all of them. So the 4 original characters were Maya the Siren that I played at. I really did not enjoy playing with her ability the same way I did the first game. The first Siren character. It seems like it probably was a great opportunity to not have a Siren as a type of character and instead introduce either a new type of person with special abilities. But I guess inherently this is a mage, this is inherently a dwarf, this is inherently a stealth thief, and this is inherently just your standard fantasy trope characters. These are the 4 original ones. However, in DLC there's also this Krieg Psycho, who I've never played as, and I'm actually surprised that he's here. And then there is Gage the Necromancer, who I did try to play as, but I only got a couple of hours into the gameplay, and then I kind of just burned out with Borderlands 2. Frankly, there's just a little too much of that, of it happening too close to Borderlands 1. So it'll be kind of interesting. Again, it's only been probably half a year since I played Borderlands 1, but I didn't play it 2 times through with all the DLC. Let's see, aggressive combat brawler, which would be punching. Gage sends out her active skill is sending out a robot that just goes and attacks other people. Let's see, his is just going into berserk mode. His is allowing you to mostly long-range sniping or getting really close. Keep your cover and never give the enemy a chance at a turret. So my 2 choices here, as I'm kind of agonizing between this, is 0 or Krieg. And his berserk active ability, I think, has him just attacking people with his fist, where I think his berserk ability just increases his bullets. So there's kind of an overlap here. There's also an overlap with a character named Tiny Tina that gets introduced, and Gage. They made Tiny Tina into this secondary character that you want to have some you want to have a lot of story with her, but you can't actually play the whole game with her, because then it would be a very little girl running around doing the whole adventure. Not that I think Tiny Tina would even have too much trouble there, since she seems to be more than adept at blowing up people. This is also a character, I guess, that would also should have gotten some praise, frankly, for being an amputee. It seems like both her arms are robotic, and it never even really came up in a weird way. I guess we'll go with 0. I guess I have to decide. I can't sit on the screen forever.
Great. Another dead Vault Hunter. Handsome Jack's been busy.
So we have the Claptrap unit from the first game.
Wait a minute. You're not dead.
Which
yes! Now I can get off
this
this
Claptrap
your metaphorical ship has finally
is
come
the
in.
one that tried to take over the world.
I am a CL4P TP steward bot, but my friends call me Claptrap. Or they would if any of them were still alive, or had existed in the first place. Oh, I've got something for you. Here, take this echo communicator that I totally didn't loot from one of these corpses. It comes with a Class 12 heads-up display, complete with a mini-map. Now, come, friend. Let's get you inside. Man, this is great! Now that I've met a mighty Vault Hunter, I can finally join the Resistance and Sanctuary, take vengeance against Jack for killing my product line, and repair my central processor so I stop thinking out loud. I wonder what it's like to have a belly button. This way!
I'll explain everything soon, but know this. You're alive for a reason, and I am here to help you.
We have a new angel there, and sorry for not clicking A, but it is important to point out this. I have 98 golden keys available right now. To use a golden key, you have to go to the mysterious loot chest in Sanctuary. The higher you level, the better loot. So as soon as I can get into that, almost certainly I'll spend 5 golden keys, maybe even 10, and get some major loot at a very low level. And this is all from the shift codes and entering the codes, and I missed out on a lot, frankly. I could have probably been in closer to 150. Eric Runes, or Iridian Relic, sorry. Relics give you minor bonuses in one area of your character. There are many different types of relic. Try to find one that suits your playstyle to the best. So,
let's go this way.
With the DLC, you're not having the original experience that people would have had by default. You just aren't. Unlock. You've successfully unlocked the natural selection annex. Look for it. Look for its interest in the wildlife exploration preserve. Congratulations on being a member of the Premium Club. Characters you create will start with the Vault Hunter's Relic and a collection of Gearbox manufactured guns in your inventory. Thanks for purchasing a special edition of Borderlands 2. You've unlocked a skin customization, head customization, and fireworks grenade. So there's just like a ton of things to start with. That the Gearbox, I suppose these Gearbox guns would not really have been any different anyways, and these are probably, this one might be different or from some other DLC. Let's see. And how do we even compare? We've got like an SMG, and then we hit A, and we compare it here. And boy, is that screen not what you want. So maybe I can get into the options and just have the screen flat. Like this 3D angular thing is not pretty, and not what we had. Yeah, the Gearbox gun is by far way better in everything but magazine size. Assassin head customization. Unlock this head from a quick change system unlocks this head for the quick change system when used from inside your inventory, so I can just hit that and unlock that. Special edition 5 unlocks a skin for the quick change system when used. And let's see what this is. I didn't equip anything when I hit that. It just said Memories of Death or something. Meanwhile, the one thing they don't give you, and it probably is a good move, is to not give you any skill points for the first game. but eventually I will decide whether I want to go down one path or the other path or the third path. We tried this as much as possible to get more experience and see if that would give us a way to get more points, and we got a decent number of points, frankly, in the first game. I'm not sure that there's really too much here that I'm not sure we're gonna really get any of this, though. I'm not sure if there's actually any increase for experience, which is fine, I guess. Regenerative health is an idea that we might want, and but there's definitely fewer upgrades, and they're not just the same upgrades. It feels rather weird that they didn't ever in the DLC introduce the original characters, because I kind of think that's what I would have definitely pushed for in making the sequels, is a idea that you, after a few months of playing with the new characters, they simply they simply give you the ability to play as the 4 original characters. But no, it doesn't do that. And here we have our badass rank, and we've got a ton of little quests that we will just get finished. Some of them, I think we got everything in the first game close to level 4. A lot of things making their way to level 5. Some things less likely to happen. Some things, let's see, apparently you can hit Y to disable bonus stats, and apparently A to watch a challenge, and A to redeem a token if we had any. And okay, I think we're as good as we can go.
What the hell are you?
Why do you retreat? Face your end honorably. Make me work for it.
Who sent you? His sister? His kids? Whatever they're offering, I'll quintuple it.
This is punishment. His murder will be avenged, and I will be paid.
For God's sake, what do you want? Just tell me what you want.
For you to fight back. Bandits like you are easy.
What the hell are you?
I want a challenge.
So we started that voice recording, and it just played that. Okay, good to know. Although that doesn't seem like, that probably was some kind of DLC thing. Options on video. Let's see. UI sway off. Let's see if that is what we wanted. Yeah, I think that does probably fix that, because that was not pretty. Is there anything else in the video that we specifically are too worried about? Most of these are just general things. Yeah, it's just a UI sway that I did not like that. Alright. Now on this map, and now as we're getting to Borderlands and actually playing the game, what do we know about Borderlands? It's a game where we want to constantly run, so I need to figure out what the run button is. I probably don't have it enabled right now. There's nothing in this area. One assumes that since I'm playing this as a first player only single player experience, that everybody else on the train did die, or here, go ahead and try that, or they landed safely somewhere else. thing we're not seeing here is any pickups or any enemies to kill to get pickups.
Your ability to walk short distances without dying will be Handsome Jack's downfall.
It's a slow intro, I know, certainly. Right now I'm having a little bit of that. Bulk collect those bullets and go ahead and just reload. There's a lack of destructible environment. I think inherently one of the issues is as Borderlands 3 takes longer and longer to come out as a product, it's going to feel older and older. There are things in this game that feel like they should be destructible, things that look like they should be animated as round instead of square. If a better example of that is like this should probably be round, and this tire is almost round but not quite.
Over here.
Of course, we always start with the #1 mistake, which is getting tangled up with Claptrap.
And open! Just a little added security. Gotta keep those bullymons at bay, or they'll rip your eyes out.
Bullymons are a new enemy we haven't seen before. And he says they'll rip your eyes out. We can see there's a bunch of dead Claptrap units here. One of the things I guess to mention there is that the and open animation scene is something we did a lot of in the first game. You would have to rescue Claptraps and they'd open doors for you, and they'd give you they'd open closets that had lots of guns, and they would give you a inventory increase. Right now, like how many, I suppose that is a good question. I can hold 12 items, so inventory increases are something we still will want to have, because this loot-based RPG, they're literally built into the wall. Loot-based RPGs, and see, even that by modern standards, not super smooth. And frankly, you might be better not having somebody walk through something like this, because the way the character interacts with it makes it work weirder than anything else. Seems like this is actually falling apart and tearing. Oh wow. I doubt very many people realized that there was actually tearing physics happening here. Again, an in-game cutscene probably would have shown that off a lot better. And shooting it. So we do have a little bit of destructible environment. Doesn't seem like it goes too far, though. Like, you might get some bullet decals on some walls, but eventually those bullet, I guess you'd call those decals, fall apart. Let's see. So here we have a vault symbol with discover. Your dog, I heard you like whatever. So just finding this apparently started a challenge. Let's just go over here and look at them. Redeem this token. Do I want to increase maximum health shield capacity, or grenade damage, or shield recharge delay? I think inherently you'd want shield recharge delay taken down. And let's see if we can sort these in different ways. Sort by level, sort by category. See, I think I have to go all the way to the top. Like, So somewhere down in this, I accomplished some challenges and started progress in other challenges, because I bet there's almost certainly a challenge to do a challenge, or do a certain number of challenges, and then just more of these claptrap units.
Everything Jack kills, he dumps here. Bandits, vault hunters, claptrap units. If I sound pleased about this, it's only because my programmers made this by default tone of voice. I'm actually quite depressed. Now, the creatures around here are dangerous. None more than this bullymong named Knuckle Dragger. Killed everyone I know. Anywho, I keep a pistol in the cabinet over there for emergencies. But in here, we should be pretty safe.
See, you have an in-game cutscene here. And see, he foreshadowed that by saying they'd rip your eye out.
The gun in the cabinet.
Here we have them burning a handsome Jack poster, which Handsome Jack won't play a huge role. See, I can just walk through this without even having to crouch down, which is slightly surprising. Here we can just take all the money from the poker game. And like little things here very well may be challenges or achievements. Here's a couple of questions, like A, why is there oil all over this toilet? And B, why is there a toilet if it's just him? And C, what's the deal with that? We had the gun-loving, crazy pornography in the first game. I think this is pretty much probably one of the few places you'll even see it in this game. They kind of cleaned up the game in a weird way. And let's see, oil again on his bed. I think they're still doing the dirty jokes, certainly, and still trying to be hardcore as much as they can. And here we have another just dead claptrap unit. You can't get through here until we've finished our task, so I'm mostly just trying to pick up everything and be thorough for not even a great reason. Okay, let's see. No reaction to that. And Handsome Jack must have destroyed some arenas and some gun shops and some bazaars and killed a lot of people. Here's one we missed. And here's one we missed. Easy enough to miss things. Certainly, it's trying to get us into a fast experience. First quest here is my first gun, get a gun, which is to say, up until this point I wasn't supposed to have a gun. The guns I've got were from DLC, so pretty drastic difference at the beginning. This gun, in comparison, if we hit right stick
Once
to
upon
inspect.
a time, 4 Vault Hunters changed Pandora forever. But their time has passed. Thanks to Handsome Jack, Pandora needs a new hero. I know that hero is you.
Apart from the excruciating pain,
So this is a basic repeater, what, $20 gold? $20.
And you shall be my fearsome minion.
And now we're at full health, and they had made it very specifically so that you would be at full health at this point. The gun here, in comparison to this, I guess it is slightly better in everything, except for the fact that it doesn't do as much damage. So Gearbox is giving you these special skinned, like, Gearbox guns that, let's see, I guess the real thing that makes them special is that now you have this inspect mode. And see, I think they've overthought how many gun nuts were playing Borderlands. There are gun nuts that certainly love guns, but there's really nothing special about this other than the Gearbox logo. And once you start zooming in at 1080p, you're starting to see there's some lack of high quality textures. The thing that I'd hope was less emphasized in the next Borderlands is the idea of having bazillions and bazillions of combinations of guns, and instead just saying, look, we've done enough here, and let's make the story a little bit better written. This is it's almost an attempt to do like Counter-Strike Go gun skins, but there's no trading there. Maybe that's what Gearbox really wants to do for Borderlands 3 is have gun trading and get some of that money. But there's so much controversy around that with like CSGO lottery scandals and such that it would be rather insane. But I do appreciate the inspect option. That was something missing from the first game. Right. And he went through the door and then opened it for you. And now he wants you to go this way. We still have the crazy things that take a little too long to open for you to be able to pick up things. More and more for modern video games, we want video games to respect the player's time, and spending 60 hours in which several of them are watching crates open in animation scenes is not ideal. There's all these eyes sitting around, so you would think you could probably just shove one of those eyes into Claptrap.
Just let me get this door open and we'll hunt ourselves a bully mob.
You still don't really have the greatest of zooms.
Let me know if I'm gonna run into anything. Ow. I'll just assume you didn't see that.
So, here's the fast travel. In theory, I don't think you're supposed to be able to fast travel to any of these places right now because you haven't discovered them, but that certainly seems like a lot of places, and that map certainly is much bigger than what the world felt like in Borderlands 1, and we don't spend too much time, if any, really going back to old maps and old levels. And that leaves Borderlands 3 open to maybe reintroducing some of the previous areas and having new enemies there and new challenges there.
Even though Knuckle Dragger blindsided me, I know my way around this glacier.
But
I bet you will find my eye in Frostbite Crevasse.
Let's see. This is your melee kill. This is our fire. Apparently something just
Stick close
died.
to the robot. He will help you get off this glacier and into the city of Sanctuary. That is the only place you will be safe.
Got some nice Aurora Borealis. The angel character we're seeing now doesn't seem anywhere as she doesn't seem anywhere as glitchy when she's being animated like she was in the first game, and she doesn't even feel like she's the same actress. Apparently we can smash things and get things out of them. The number one thing here though is how can we run? Left stick. Seems like there's also some auto grabs on some stuff. Not everything, but it does seem like money is just going to be picked up when you walk near it, which is fair enough and fine with me. Might cause some problems if you were playing with other people. I think inherently that's that is going to be an issue just in general. Is maybe some different settings should be by default turned on.
Let's go this way.
We don't have any grenades right now, by the way, if there was any question about that, but we will get them pretty quickly.
Ah! I hear bully bots! Sick of minion! Protect me, Squire!
Area waypoint. This mission has an area waypoint. Area waypoints give you the general location of the objective, but you must search the area to find it. So, should try this and see how many hits it takes to kill. Seems like that was 2. Perhaps the slashing action in itself is part of it, but because you have the critical element that I just got, and apparently I'm too far away, so I'm getting a different audio recording from the radio. And this is pretty laid back. I guess it's also worth mentioning that I intend to go for an hour in these recordings because I know this is going to be a really long.
Or your mom just got out of bed.
You'll need that funny little robot's help to reach Sanctuary, the last bastion of the resistance against Jack, and the only place you'll be truly safe. Get to Sanctuary.
So the idea, as I understood it was the Hyperion Corporation that reprogrammed Claptrap to try to take over the world in the first place. In the previous DLC, Claptrap's Robot Revolution. If any of that is canonical, because you do have this slight issue now, because everything is supposedly just a story of, well, maybe the DLC isn't canonical, and maybe none of the story is canonical, maybe the main game's not canonical. It's possible that you would have Borderlands 3 start and then completely forget or ignore everything that's happened up until this point. It wouldn't work very well and people wouldn't be happy about it.
Great! Now get me out of here before more bullymongs arrive.
So the gore is just slight bits of blood that frankly they don't need to even be. It doesn't need to be in the game, but it doesn't really add nor take anything away.
Maybe you're thinking, oh, Claptrap's such a strong and noble paragon of justice and skill, he can get out himself. Which, most of the time, you would be totally right about. But as it stands right now, I can use some help. And if you don't, I'm gonna have to pull out the big guns. I'll hit you with the silent treatment.
He fell in the snow, and I'm supposed to go pull him out of the snow.
Giving you the silent treatment.
Meanwhile,
feel the sting of my passive aggression.
I think I'm probably at maximum.
Not at all. Silence.
But picking up holding the X button on top of this is a door I believe that is going to be closed. The story is spending a lot of effort to make sure that I don't leave him behind. It's literally forcing me to save Claptrap, which is certainly understandable. I can see a lot of people don't like Claptrap. They don't like his form of comedy, but they still might like the rest of Borderlands, and leaving him behind would be something you kind of want to do, or at least some people, a good percentage of people. We do, for the most part, leave him behind, though. Like, you do this tutorial with him,
Jack here,
and then that's kind of it.
Let me explain how things work here. The Vault Hunters show up, Vault Hunter looks for the new vault, Vault Hunter gets killed by me. You see the problem here? You're still alive. So if you could just do me a favor and off yourself, that'd be great. Thanks, Pumpkin.
And open!
Seems like there's quite a bit of damage that these rags have to take before they break, or they mostly only tear when you jump through them. Seems like they mostly only tear when you jump through them.
My eye just switched back on! I see a tough-looking minion and an incredibly handsome robot, which means that whoever has my eye is very close.
So his eye apparently is wireless. And here we have a callback to having silly named characters. And we have to do a full boss fight without the benefit of any of our abilities.
Oh, God! They're coming out of the wall spacers!
I think I was mostly hitting Claptrap there. Yeah, these rat Bullymons seem like they are stronger than the ones I was fighting before. Remember, no grenades. Not very much reach on my knife either. Now, the reason I feel like this is probably the closer character to playing as the Siren is because he gets the ability to disappear, and it's in some way similar to the phase walk ability, where the Siren Maya in this game doesn't really get a phase walk ability. She gets something slightly different that I just never could find what I liked about it. It is, I guess, also possible that Maya might have gotten some skills in her skill tree that got her more experience, and Zero just doesn't, but whatever. Level up, I've just leveled up. Leveling up permanently increases the amount of health you have and the amount of damage you deal. It also immediately gives you full health and shields.
Woohoo! If you would, retrieve my eye for me. Oh, and I apologize for saying wall sphincters. I say that a lot when I'm frightened.
And see, I just walked over bullets and I didn't have to hit a button. So it seems like they've done us a favor. Let's see. If I switch to this gun, it's fewer bullets, but switch bullets by pressing Y. So this is at the point where you were supposed to have had 2 bullets, 2 guns. So that very first gun that you just picked up, that was supposed to be it. Also seems like if you're not really on top of things, or if it's money, you still need to hit X, which is a nice middle ground. You don't want the player to immediately forget that X is the thing you're supposed to do, but you also don't want to have them pressing the X button to the point of wearing it out like Borderlands 1 kind of felt like it was doing at times.
Got my eye?
You have to press X for the
just gotta find
items.
someone to put it back into me. Much as I'm sure you'd like to jam your fist into my skull, optic surgery is best left to professionals. My pal Hammerlock in Liarsburg can fix me up. Alon Z.
Alon Z is what one of the Doctor Who said when this was going on. I assume that's the reference they're making, although maybe not. Notice how, as I was getting closer to Claptrap, you hear it coming out of his mouth, but if you're far enough away, you hear it on the radio.
Flyersburg's on the other side of this Hyperion barge. Let's say we cut through it, chum.
So this is another example of
this door's Hyperion tech. Child's play.
Needing him to go forward.
Open.
Intruders detected. Lock your door.
Well, it was nice knowing you. I hear getting eaten alive by bullybogs isn't such a bad way to go.
Let me get that for you. Executing phase shift. You're welcome. Perks of being an artificial intelligence. I'm networked into almost everything on this planet. It's a long way to Sanctuary. Please take whatever you need for the journey ahead.
So the question is, why did Angel not unlock so many doors for the characters in the first game? Maybe she was not so connected to non-Hyperion technology, is the argument. I imagine things like these flags here, I imagine they very well may not have been in the console versions, because this is a real DirectX 10 element that was very much like DirectX 10 and NVIDIA. I think it was more of an NVIDIA video card thing that they were selling about having games. I know Mirror's Edge also was very big about saying having flags, and inherently, because it couldn't be guaranteed that every person with a non-NVIDIA card could see these flags, often there was either an option that would turn them off completely or change them to something that looks a lot worse. This has now been kind of replaced with NVIDIA Hairworks and NVIDIA Physics in general as other technologies. Seems like there probably is no challenge or anything to jump and tear these because of that. I doubt there's an achievement or anything. This is simply just a testament to my video card, which isn't even that good of a video card, let's be honest. It's a GTX 970. Maybe. I'm hoping to get like an 1180 when it comes out. Which also, though, that wouldn't really change the appearance of this game too much, other than maybe bumping it up to 2K or 4K, which I simply don't have enough internet speed to upload to 2K, 4K graphics to. This is the SMG gun, by the way. We've been using the assault rifle, and the SMG did a good number on the bullets there. I think the cloth in particular probably needs a lot of single hits, so it probably only takes like 1 damage per hit. And the reason why we jump through it and it does a lot of damage is because it's probably taking 1 damage with every single impact your body texture is running into it. Probably does 1 damage, much in the same way that the SMG just shoots tons of bullets. And so we're gonna turn in this quest to him. Or we can just kind of leave it here. This is a pretty good point to leave it, frankly, because we are only going to go further and further. Certainly, we can see that with all the DLC, you start with a slightly better gun instead of having the basic repeater and then picking up a slick revolver, which might be a cool gun to have, and fire scattergun, which requires level 2, so a shotgun. For the most part, that's not what we're going to want. Am I ready to immediately equip something? Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to equip this gearbox sniper gun. Not too bad of an idea. And this is a actual elemental gun, which we don't even have yet. They introduced the idea of doing slag damage, which is like a kind of different form of poison damage. I'm not sure there's really anything else. The one type of gun we don't have right now is a rocket launcher, and the ones that use the other kind of ammos. We do have that. Feels like from the first game there might have been one style of ammo that they got rid of, which is fine, frankly, and probably a great idea. There was a decent thought of not having having crazy amounts of different variety of ammo. If they got rid of a type of ammo, they probably got rid of a type of gun, and that they probably didn't, but it's just the way things are being presented. We don't have a level, so apparently this deception ability doesn't unlock yet, or we just don't get a skill point until we hit maybe level 4 or 5. Once we get another badass token, you have this on top of everything else feature where I can constantly reduce the shield delay time. If I can get it down to as low as possible and have a decent shield on, then that effectively makes me immortal. The enemies we've been fighting here kind of are going away. Like, you really don't run into too many of them ever again. Here's our sniper. A very slow, this is not the standard automatic sniper you would expect. And weirdly, when you press forward, you're walking forward. So I'm not zooming in the rifle with the left stick. I'm actually walking forward. So the zoom in, as far as I can tell, is a constant zoom in. Well, so far so good. Achievements would pop up on the Steam overlay, which I always have disabled. So we've gone from level 1 to 2. More than likely we will go from level 1 up to something around 25 or 30. Was a level cap at somewhere around 50, 55. Much like the first game, eventually that I think got raised to a maximum of like 66 in the first game, and I believe it eventually got raised in this game to the point where it's infinite. So much so that it really wouldn't be impossible for at this E3 2018 for them to announce we've got some new DLC for Borderlands 2 to prepare you for Borderlands 3, because there's not too much of a issue there. Specific days like St. Patrick's Day also will give you shift codes if you follow Borderlands on Facebook and Twitter. So that there's entire skins that I'm going to have to do, probably try and catch on specific days like St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, maybe Easter, things like that. So you basically have to have the game installed for an entire year worth of holidays, which is asking a lot because I'm playing this game on an SSD. It is in the 20 to 60 gigabyte level as far as being installed. I'm not sure exactly how much it's taking up my space, but that's a lot for an SSD, particularly when I am not really playing the game. It's a shame that the codes do expire. However, a ton of them certainly didn't expire. I have 98 golden keys, and that says something, at least. And that's way more than I ever need. Golden keys will be giving me way better equipment, and to the point where we'll probably get a set of golden key weapons and then not need to change away from those weapons for several level ups, 2 or 3 level ups. That's going to be it for this recording, and all my recordings the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, please click the notification bell, see if that helps. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. See, there's a tooltip down there that says, got more than 100 golden keys, stop saving and start spending. I feel like I'm getting that particularly because I have 98 golden keys, which is not more than 100, but it still seems like that's a reasonable response. Anyways, I was wrapping up. Like, share, subscribe. I also ask you to watch every second of my videos because that supposedly tells YouTube that it's my videos are worth watching. Comment. The other thing is, because YouTube is so unpredictable and constantly changing, I ask everybody to find a backup. There's several social media links down in the description. So if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. There's also Tumblr and Google+, same deal. There also is links to friend me on battle.net for Blizzard products. That's mostly just to friend people. And friend me on Steam. That's mostly just because I want people to friend me. Right now, also, there's no monetization on my channel, so I ask people, instead of trying to do an Indiegogo Patreon type thing, I guess it would be Patreon, I ask people to just friend me on Steam and gift me games if you don't want to do that, or if you have a code from like the Humble Bundle store, direct message those codes to me on Twitter. Giving me a game puts that game at the top of the list of games that I'm considering covering, and it just makes everything a little bit easier in general. If you don't want to pick or look at my wish list on Steam to see the kind of games I have at least a small interest in playing, then there is also the opportunity to just gift a gift card on Steam, which that works just fine too. I can wait for a big Steam sale and buy the games that I'm most interested in. And is there anything else to say? Nothing other than thank you for watching and have a good evening. So thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Bye.